Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to?
Get up and give your reasons.
Yeah.
But you see? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All of this bunkum, Bush, bunkum, balderdash, all of that is just to prevent you, me, and those like us from having a say in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get a chance, you hear Donald say this big mass deportation, don't think you're not in it.
Well,
You may
Why
have-
do you think
you
he
may
was
have
talking about
been
black
born
jobs?
here.
Why do you think he was talking about black jobs?
Mm-hmm.
We gonna get rid of these immigrants,
Yeah.
and we gonna restore
Yeah.
the job assignment that these Africans
Yeah.
had in the first
Yeah.
place. Get out there and start picking cotton
Yeah.
and tomatoes
Yeah,
and
man.
peaches and
Yeah.
oranges.
I bet
That's
you
what he's
somebody
talking
pick his,
about.
Yeah.
his golden
Yeah.
locks.
But you know, and
Maybe
the
they
thing
pick him some
the
brains or
thing is that our people, man, and you know, let's talk about our people and Hispanic people. They just don't understand, man.
Yeah, they do.
Uh,
Yeah, they do. 88% of black folks right now are supporting Kamala Harris. Now, if you ain't happy with that, I don't know what's going to make you
Well,
happy.
you know, I'm just going by some of the people I meet, you know, and I happen to meet.
You just happened to meet the wrong set then.
Well, you know, it's interesting to me to meet these different people, man, because of the idea they have. Did we talk about the guy who used to play ball with us at that old Y? Who was that telling me they talked to him one day last week? He played ball with us. He also worked at the Y.
What about him? What'd he do?
They was I forget who it was. Anyway, he was telling me that he was talking to this guy. Oh, Paul. He was talking to him and said he told Paul said he told him, "Oh, I'm gonna set this one out. I ain't gonna vote this time. I'm gonna set this one out." And he got a son, 22 years old. Man, it's like, I mean, if he.
Ahmad, you ain't gonna get everybody to agree. You ain't gonna get everybody to read.
I'm just speaking of guys that.
For
how-
every one fool like you just mentioned, there's 8 or 9 others who have their head on straight, man. So quit dwelling on those suckers.
You
Quit
know,
dwelling on them, man.
We're not going to get 100%,
Yeah.
period.
Kamala's doing better than any Democratic candidate in our lifetime with our people. One thing, and we're down to a minute. You need to remember, Dr. Martin Luther King, at the time he was assassinated, April 4th, 1968, had an approval rating among black people in the low 30s.
yeah, 37. They said.
And he
37.
and he had an approval rating among white Americans in the high 20s.
Yeah.
So
It's still hard to imagine that.
Doesn't well, you know,
Yeah.
if you look at the times, man, we can talk about that on our next show. But
Yes, sir.
I wouldn't get too much. I wouldn't get too wrapped up in a conversation about support when I'm looking at if black people can treat Martin Luther King that way, and then they turn around they give Kamala Harris 88% of their support, according to the polls came out this week at ABC ipso facto.
A change, man.
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Let's end that and go to the next one. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki, and we catch you down the next block for more Street Talk. Peace.
Okay, let me get some water.
Okay. Hurry up, Patrick. Tell her one more. One more. But yeah, man. It was, man. It really made me back then. It made me, man. It just really made me ill. That meant all the things he had done, and that's all the support he had among blacks, man. I mean, it was just, to me, it was devastating. To me, you know, I don't know, and I know
You got to look at it in the context of the history at the time, man. You can't look at it through eyes that we have. You got to look at it through the eyes of the people at that time, man.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, brother?
All right.
All right, now. All right.
All right.
Hey, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, you got to look, man, because back then, man, The reason why
Ready?
his support
It's still
plummeted
rolling.
Rolling?
It's still rolling.
Okay.
Yeah. Tina wasn't
was
here
the
to
Vietnam
stop it.
War.
I didn't
That's
stop
what
it.
did it.
Yeah.
It's the Vietnam War.
All right. We ready? Welcome again to Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraki. And on Street Talk, we deal with political, social, and economics here in Michigan, the U.S., and abroad. Now, joining me tonight,
Dennis Burnside.
Patrick Maynard.
all right, man, we got a lot to talk about. But you was talking about something about Miss Harris, Vice President Harris, and where you think the states that she's going to win, and where right now they claim that it's even, and
Yeah. I think she's going to win most of the must-win states.
okay, like what?
Michigan, Pennsylvania, those two for sure. A very good chance in down south there.
Georgia?
Well, Georgia is pretty much on the edge.
Okay.
Arizona, it's shaping up real good for her right now.
North Carolina.
North Carolina is shaping up good.
Nevada.
And we expect to get the governor there too, Nevada. So we got a good chance from those. And we just might do a big thing in a place like Texas.
Yep.
It sounds strange, but we just might do it. And I'm looking forward to a senator from Texas this time around.
Well, the other day, the other evening, there's one of these. I don't know. It might not be the one you was talking about. One of these senators was Hispanic, and he was saying, right now he's up in Texas. So I don't know what part of Texas or where about he was.
They're just about even right now. I don't think there's
Yeah,
a
Allred is the Democratic
Yes.
candidate in Texas.
Colin.
He's he
Was a
Colin
football
Allred,
player.
former NFL player,
Right.
has a very compelling personal history.
Yes.
And he's a very, very smart guy.
Okay.
He's right now going toe to toe with Ted
Cruz.
Cruz. And the good thing about a Senate race is you can't distort the districts in order to make it advantageous to one political party or
Right.
another. It's just a one person, one vote type situation. And he's been able to paint a real vivid picture of Ted Cruz.
Oh, yeah, man.
Who does not present legislation, who does not look out for the people of Texas in any way.
No.
He brings up the fact that when the electrical grid crashed 2 winters ago,
He's
Ted
gone.
Cruz's response was to get on a plane and go to
Yeah.
the Caribbean
Yep.
rather than stay behind and see what he could do to make this problem go away. And he makes a lot of noise and he talks a lot of crap, but he doesn't work for people. And Allred has been able to go out and go to districts that he really has no business winning and persuade a lot of people. So I think he has a very good chance of winning the Senate there. Tester up in Montana, it's going to be close for him.
Yes.
But he's got an opportunity to win there. And we see this in Senate races across the country where the Democrat in elections past would not really have a
Right, a chance.
legitimate chance. They're swinging for the fences. And I think there's a good chance that the Dems can maintain
At least
the
increase
Senate.
the numbers.
It maintain it. You
Yeah.
got to hold power. If not increase, at least maintain it. And then, of course, in the House, take back the House.
Yes.
And if that happens, and we can start getting some real progressive policy. See, here's the thing about progressivism and liberalism. If you ask a cat like me, what am I? I'm gonna tell you without any hesitation, I'm a liberal.
Yeah.
I'm a progressive. I'm proud of it
Yeah.
because I know what the meaning is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's been besmirched and it's been so dirtied up by politics
Yeah.
on TV that people go, I ain't no liberal.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
no progressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay. Well, let's
I'm all
let's
of
let's
the
run
above.
down this list of 20 questions, and you tell me where you stand on these positions, from minimum wage to Social Security
Yeah.
to the rights of women to
Yeah.
choose. Going down the line,
Yeah.
most Americans,
Oh, yeah.
irrespective of geography,
Yeah.
irrespective of political
Yeah.
party, are progressives.
Yeah.
They're FDR
Yeah.
progressives.
Yeah.
But they had that label so dirtied up that they don't want to identify with
Right.
that. So
Right.
they vote against their own interests
Yeah.
because they'd rather be cool and down
Yeah.
and be one of the guys
Yeah.
at the country club
Yeah.
or at the Y
Yeah.
who says, I'm not one of those. But I'll tell you what, I think that the idea that to be a conservative means that you're patriotic has been thrown out the window.
Oh, yeah.
January 6th shows us this. The failure of the GOP to fully support NATO underscores this.
Yeah.
They're not patriots.
No.
The idea that if you're conservative, you're some kind of tough guy, that you're more macho. That's underscored by this bag of buttermilk that you guys out here support, who's walking around in high heels and makeup in a wig. If you so macho, why is that your avatar for toughness? Okay, so let's get down to being adults and looking at the issues, and I think a lot of voters are starting to say, wait a minute, we've got Wall Street at an all-time high. We've got employment at an all-time high since World War II. We've got an economy that's just cooking with gas on all levels. People are inflation is down, mortgage rates are down, gas prices are down.
But yet,
how does this all
economy is a big
happen?
question.
How does this all happen without policy making it happen? And if you look at what happened and you evaluate it objectively, you have to admit that Joe Biden's presidency has been one of the most effective and one of the most beneficial presidential administrations for the middle class, poor, and working people since FDR. Those are facts. So let's get past the labels and let's start looking at what's really the issue. So when you run into a coon like you did at the White House, says, I'm going to sit this one out. If you ask him why, he could not give you a substantive answer because he's probably going home and while his wife is putting the cornbread in the oven, he's watching Fox News and being influenced by people who don't give a damn about it.
Can I say something?
Please do.
My name is Marcus Jefferson. I don't know if you guys can see me, but I'm with the Michigan Bulletin.
Good paper.
Several years ago, they put me on Farxiga, which is a diabetes medicine.
Yes.
Okay.
It cost me $435 every month. With the new legislation that
Biden.
Biden put forth, that same medication cost me $27 a month.
Wow.
You know, for no other reason.
It wasn't Joe
As far
Biden.
as I'm concerned, Joe's gonna be my man forever.
Same thing with insulin, brother.
Yeah.
Same thing with insulin.
Yeah.
And I've made my career in pharma. You know, I'm a pharma guy. That's what I do. And I know how the game is played. What you were paying $421 for, you go to Spain, hell, you go to Canada, Mexico,
Yeah.
and
Next
get it
to
for 5,
nothing.
10, 20 bucks. The stuff that we pay here is affected by legislation passed by the Bush-Cheney administration, which said that Medicaid could not use their economic buying power, buying in bulk, to negotiate better deals for drugs that people buy. They said, here's what we'll do. We'll let the pharmaceutical companies set the price wherever they want it, and we'll pay for it, and we won't even allow negotiations on it. And that's been in place until Biden came along. And that's why people were saying, I've got to choose between taking my diabetes medication or buying
I had lots
or
of
paying the
clients
light
I
bill,
know.
paying my diabetes medication
that.
or paying for my child's education.
Yep.
Those kind of decisions now have been largely eliminated, at least in some of these cases, by progressive legislation, by liberals. And people are starting to wake up to the fact, get away from the labels and look at what they do. And if you look at what they do, they're not for you.
Let's
They're
call
for,
them then,
they're for
man.
Wall Street, they're for the big corporations, they're for the wealthy. And the way they hook you on, Mr. Average Voter, is they say, well, you know, you're white. You know, the Mexicans, the blacks.
They're
That's
not
what
like
they-
us.
exactly. They're not like us. You don't want to be identified hanging out with them. You want to be a macho, tough guy, the conservative, that your wife can't take her full diabetes medication and she's trying to portion it out to make the budget last. You know, some of those people are starting to wake up. And they're starting to look at their own economic interests. They're starting to look at their checkbook, and that's why you see these numbers moving towards the Dems and all these races from the House to Senate to the presidential elections. People are starting to look at their own pocketbook and saying, you know what? Enough of these incessant lies on Fox News. Enough of it.
You hear somebody saying, oh, well, I had money in my pocket when Trump was president. Oh, he's this successful businessman, and he's going to be great for the economy. Donald Trump, successful businessman? No. That man who squandered every penny went in his hands. 6, 7 bankruptcies.
6. After getting $400 million.
To start with.
Twice.
Yeah.
He got $400 million to start with, was down to gas fumes, got a lifeline thrown to him by NBC. Have you guys heard the story how The Apprentice was brought about? Have you ever heard the story?
No.
The Apprentice was a concept that you know, talking heads at NBC came up with because so-called reality TV, you know, Treasure Island, whatever
Was
the
the
crap
thing.
is, it's cheap and it's popular.
Yeah.
You know, for the people who are brain dead, don't want to read, don't want to really have to synthesize and spare information into a narrative in their own mind. They just rather have stuff poured into.
Yeah.
Turn on the game, turn on reality TV. So they came up with this idea about The Apprentice. Well, who's going to be the guy that we use for The Apprentice? You know, this Trump guy is pretty well known. His Q rating, that's recognition.
Right, yeah.
You throw that name out there, a lot of people know who he
They
is.
know the
So
name,
let's
at
bring
least.
him. They went to the Trump Tower. They said it stunk. They had to fumigate it because it smelled so bad. They said the carpets were threadbare. They said the conference tables had chairs and mismatched. The guy was broke. And he got another $400 million from that show. And he's pissed that away.
Yeah.
He's incompetent. The man has the IQ of room temperature. He's narcissistic. He really thinks he's all of that.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Oh,
I've said it a million times. Trump is the poor man's idea of a rich man and a dumb man's idea of an intellectual.
Yes.
But if you got any kind of wherewithal, this guy's an empty suit. He's a fraud.
Yeah.
And
I've
that's
been to
what
his casino. Who in the hell bankrupt a casino?
Trump.
And when I was in corporate America, I was in charge of training the technicians who calibrated the machines.
Yeah.
Every month, at the end of the month, before midnight, depending on the casino, Indians casinos have to do 90%, and with Vegas and New Jersey, it's anywhere from 72% to 85%. They have to do their payout. All the rest of that money they get to keep. How can you get bankrupt when you get to keep the rest of the money?
Well, there's a story
If
to
you're
that.
Trump, you
there's,
can.
there's a story to that. It's more than incompetence. It's actually pretty sinister.
Laundering.
Thank you. In the
mob.
80s, thank you. Russian mob. If people
I
at
said
home,
call names.
if people at home can't hear my man said, he said the Russian mob. Trump has been laundering money for the
Yes.
mafia, for the Russian mafia since the 80s. Putin, who used to be their equivalent of their CIA director,
yep.
what was it called back in the day?
KGB?
KGB. They identified Trump a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they went to Trump in the late 80s, all through the 90s, and they said, hey, man, look, we're going to buy properties that you own, okay? And we're going to pay cash for them. And we're going to give you a little bit off the top. We're going to do the same thing with your casinos. And so Trump knew that he was going to make money either way. So, for example, in Trump Tower, when NBC went in there to try to set up the Apprentice, at that same time, in that building, you had the Russian mob with illegal casinos, illegal brothels, all kind of activity going on right there in Trump's building. And they identified him early on as a sucker that they could launder their money through and keep themselves out of jail
Yep.
because this dude here was a mark, an easy target.
Yeah.
That's why
And
his
that's
son
the
said they get
man
their money from the Russians.
who millions of Americans saw on TV and said, "No, that's what we need.
Yeah.
We need a businessman."
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, I got,
were you 14, 15 when you stopped believing in Santa Claus? I mean, you that
I never
naive?
was into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean,
I gotta read a piece of something. I gotta read this. The greatest want of the world is the want of men. Men who will not be bought or sold. Men who in their inmost souls are true and honest. Men who do not fear to call sin by its right name. Men whose conscience is as true to duty as the needle to the pole. Men who will stand for the right, though the heavens fall.
That's why Martin
Sure.
Luther King and Malcolm X were killed, because you couldn't do it with the economics, you couldn't do it with the political, you couldn't slander the name and
No,
press.
no.
The power of the mind, when you can get somebody to believe in what you believe in, you have to kill them or they're going to follow that person.
A noble character is the result of self-discipline, of the subjugation of the law to the higher nature, the surrender of self for the service of love to God and man. Trump doesn't fit.
Who you quoting there?
This was from a lady named Ellen G. White in a book called Education.
And you could insert men or women into that.
Well, when it says men here,
it's talking about
it's
human
talking
beings.
human
Exactly.
mankind.
Exactly.
And the world needs more morally strong, upright people, individuals. And Donald Trump cannot fit in there. How could you tell me this man must run this country?
well, the thing is, man, is that the man has been a liar ever since he's been born. Okay.
Can't help it.
So we ended one. This was a new show. But the thing is that when you are a professional liar, you're going to get people to
The
believe.
man not even a professional.
Well, he get
He
a
is just an old rotten stinking liar.
I think
well-
he says what a lot of people want to hear. though.
yeah.
Yeah. But he ain't professional. A professional liar, you're not going to catch him out every time he talk.
Well, You know, I don't know. I know. I know.
You look, man,
I know this liar.
You got to look at what the United States is. Not what it says it is, what it is.
What it is.
And Trump fits a lot of people's idea of what they want for this country.
Yeah.
They want to have white hegemony, right?
Yeah.
White folks run things,
Yeah.
particularly men,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They don't want to have workers able to organize and leverage their numbers for better
Right.
wages, right?
Right.
They don't want women to be able to have agency over their bodies
No.
and be equal
No.
politically and economically
Yeah.
with men. You have a very misogynistic, racist culture
Yeah.
that started this country,
Yeah.
and that's the American way.
Yeah.
And any change to that is going to be met with resistance.
Right.
And we're looking at a critical point now in history where we're finally starting to see more than just lip service given to this idea that women have equal rights to men, that majority of the world, black people, have equal rights to white men,
Yeah.
that Hispanic descended people have equal rights to white men. White men have made Fox News a juggernaut. White men have made the GOP competitive.
Yeah.
Because without them, they wouldn't even be in the position to be able to say, I'm going to gerrymander this district in order to make sure that one of our guys always
Yeah.
wins that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be in position to be able to say, I'm going to run commercials on TV that just lie without having some type of censor or some type of standard that says you can't run ads and just come out here and just
Right,
and
but-
just
but that-
make
Let's
up
go in
stuff.
another
But today
little
you
piece of
can.
this, man.
Right.
You can do that today.
Another little piece of this man, Donald Trump. Oh, the economy. Only I can fix it. Only
Yeah.
he could do anything.
Yeah.
All right. I gave you, and people saying, well, Trump gave us a check, I got it. Now, that COVID check. Donald Trump had his signature on the checks that sent out. Question in my mind, were these checks valid? The checks are to be signed by the Secretary of the Treasury. Treasury Secretary is whose signature is on the checks. Donald Trump had his signature there.
Which
Is-
delayed the distribution of the checks by 3 weeks, by the way.
Okay. But the point is for me is, was that check valid because it wasn't signed by the correct person?
Yeah,
Well-
I think
well-
that's pulling that crap out of
Well,
pepper.
well, you know.
It probably maybe
No,
technically
well,
it wasn't. Yeah, but the point
But
is,
here
people-
now, this is the man who claims I give you. But in reality, he didn't
Well,
because it
well,
wasn't
well,
legit.
once you brought that up, let's look at what happened.
Good.
We had legislation that was passed by a majority Democratic House that had not one Republican vote to support it, right? It goes through the Senate, and because of the filibuster, it passed squeaking by with one vote being the difference between that legislation not coming into law. So now it's passed and it's ready to go. And Trump says, who said that we don't want this, who was against it.
Yep.
Trump delays the distribution of that check so he can put his signature on there, so that 4 years, 5 years, 6 years later, you can
No.
have Charlemagne the God and some of these ignorant
Yeah.
Negroes in barbershops talking about
Yeah.
check. Trump gave me
Yeah.
a check.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, President Obama made a good point the other day. He said that Joe Biden passed stimulus checks. He passed stimulus checks. They just weren't so narcissistic and so dishonest
Yeah.
that they had to put their name on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Trump, again, being who he is,
Yeah.
a liar
Yeah.
and a lowlife,
Yeah.
relying on the ignorance of people out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's 12% of black men that we keep talking
Yeah.
about to be able to fool people into thinking that was his idea. He was against it.
Yeah.
He was
All right.
against it. And one other thing I'll say real quickly is I love what Obama said last week when I think it was last Saturday. He was making a speech about the economy that Trump inherited from him.
Yes.
He's going on and
I was
on
gonna
about
go
this
there.
economy. He said, man, I had 75 months straight of job growth.
Yes.
After rescuing the economy from another catastrophic
Yeah,
GOP
yeah,
administration,
yep.
where the housing market
Yeah.
collapsed because of what the GOP
Yeah.
did, I brought it out of the ashes. I gave you 75 months of job growth. I gave you a vibrant, thriving economy. And what did Trump do with it?
Kill it.
He
Kill it.
killed it by
Yeah.
ignoring the COVID threat.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
wants to go back and say, look how good
Yeah.
the economy was.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, man, the economy then, as good as it was, wasn't as good as it is now.
No.
And whatever happened with that economy, you had nothing to do with it
No.
except for
He
the
didn't
ration.
bring it in. He
No.
killed it.
Yeah.
The
And
only
now Biden
legislation
had
he
to
passed
turn
was a
around.
tax cut for the wealthy.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the
But,
only thing
I
he
tell
did.
them, show me one thing. The
Well-
only thing anybody
Well, I
could
have more money in my
honestly come.
pocket.
Yeah.
I have
yeah.
more money in my pocket.
Yeah.
Money in your pocket and no brain in your head.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So
And-
instead of $8, they had $9.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
man.
And that's the thing, man. But back to him saying that Trump saying Biden, oh, this is the worst president ever been.
The worst economy. Everything is the worst.
Yeah.
And that
he-
booger won't even look. I don't think he know how to look at himself, other than to try to boost up himself.
Well, everything is I can do this. I'll do this in a day. I'll stop
Hey.
the war. I'll stop the war and
He might be right about that because he would instantly surrender.
Yeah, and then let Putin take over.
Ukraine.
Draft
Ukraine,
dodger.
yeah,
He is the-
And it's really interesting to me. I don't care what side of the equation you fall on the Gaza genocide, but one thing's for sure: Netanyahu needed that war and wants that war to continue because it keeps him out of prison.
Yeah.
And Netanyahu, in addition to want that war to continue, he wants Trump to win the election.
Yeah.
Because he knows Trump will not give him any friction
Right.
at all
Right.
about
Why
what
you
he's doing.
think Trump got
We
him
read
at
excerpt
Mar-a-Lago?
after excerpt of Biden to go into to Netanyahu and say, "Man, chill,
Yeah.
man, stop this.
Yeah.
Let's negotiate.
Yeah.
Let's end this thing."
And then they won't.
And he won't do it.
No.
And then, of course, the barbershop says, "Well, they for this genocide." And
Yeah.
you got, man, stop.
And the killing, man. That's what makes me make me angry.
They came this close to getting a ceasefire and coming up with getting the hostages out.
No.
Then they did. They had it right there. And then last minute, he turned his back.
Look.
He walked away.
And
I believe that was right after he came here and spoke to Trump at Mar-a-Lago.
The thing is, man, I'll tell anybody that war will be going on another 6 or 8 months or maybe a year from now because he's not gonna sell for anything because every week, we kill one of the leaders that over here. But how many people did you kill?
Well, I
How
don't know
many-
if it's going to go on that long. It could. It also could be stopped pretty quickly. With a chief executive, right? If you had the commander in chief say to Israel, "Hey man, I'm giving you 2 weeks to get out of Gaza. I'm cutting off all aid, all of it."
I bring up that.
That's
before.
within the purview
I said that before.
of the commander in chief. Biden wouldn't do it.
No.
Maybe Harris will.
Yeah.
So 6-8 months, maybe not. It all depends on who wins, and it all depends on how things play out in public opinion. But right now, public opinion, worldwide,
Yeah.
man, is against this war.
Yeah.
It's just a slaughter.
Yeah.
And you can ask the question, and I think it's a legitimate question. Netanyahu, what is your objective?
Yeah.
Is it to go to war with Hamas and get
No.
the leaders, or is it to clear out population so that you can take over more land?
That's one of the things.
It's a naked.
And-
It's
and-
a
and
naked.
the
It's
other-
nakedly
It's
obvious.
greed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is so he can stay out of jail.
Well,
Yes. That's the bottom
that's the
line.
reason why he started the war when he did.
Yeah.
But this has been a plan that's been in place for a long
Yeah.
time. They've always, right now, if you were to write to a letter to the editor, if you would be in polite society and you utter the phrase "from the river to the sea," that's anti-Semitic.
Yes.
The river to the sea slogan actually came from the Zionists.
Yes.
1948.
Yeah.
That was their objective in the first
Yeah.
place. And these cats look like they're bound and determined to carry that
Yeah.
out and make sure that from the Mediterranean Sea to the Tigris and Euphrates River is Israel.
All right. We got how many minutes?
33 seconds.
33 seconds.
33 seconds.
All right. Let's
You
quick.
count, right?
Let's quickly
Go
say
ahead,
what
1 minute.
what. Go ahead then.
No, say go ahead for 1
All
minute
right.
more time.
Vice President Harris. Let's just say where she's at now. In the states he need to win. And what do you think the outcome is going to be?
I think she wins Pennsylvania. I think she wins Michigan. I think she wins Wisconsin. I think she's very competitive in both Nevada and Arizona and North Carolina and Georgia. If she wins Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, she's got it.
Yeah.
If she wins one of those others in addition to those three I met, then she's over 300 electoral votes. I'm looking at Kamala Harris winning comfortably on both popular vote and electoral college. That's my prediction.
What do you think?
I'm with that, and I'm looking for large numbers.
Look at the early vote turnout.
Yeah, that's what
All
I'm-
over the country, man.
Yeah.
Who do you think those early voters are?
Well,
We didn't even talk about Dodd
A
and
whole
Roe.
lot of young people,
Yeah, man.
first-time voters.
Yes. First-time voters, man.
Well, I seen something. I don't know what night it was. Anyway, they was talking to these young people, and it was happening that they was talking to a Republican young guy and a Democratic young guy, and so all of these young people are voting are not Democratic, you know. It's a bunch of Republican voting young too.
Man, you always scared of stuff. Man.
No, I'm talking
the
about
majority of the
yeah,
first-time voters,
yeah.
new registered
Yeah,
voters.
Democrats.
There's no question
Yeah.
about it.
Right.
Democrats.
Yeah.
You ain't happy less than 100%. Dude, here, boy.
Look,
All
man, for my Latinos, I want to tell you, man, arriba, Andre.
I'm just hoping, man, they had a chance to see what Trump been saying the last week or so. You know,
Oh, they heard him yesterday, man. They heard him yesterday.
Well, if these people who heard him still decide to go out and vote for him, something wrong with their head.
well, you know, there's a lot of them out there that heads on back as far as I'm concerned. All right.
Especially ones that scare you.
All right, that's it for Street Talk tonight. We'll catch you the next week for more Street Talk. My name is Ahmad Shakaraka. We'll catch you down the next block for more Street Talk. All right, peace.
Peace.
Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.